Welcome back everyone to the Collector Channel. Today I'll be opening up some exciting packs. These are the Charles Conlon collection packs. Conlon was a famous photographer in the early 1900s. He took several very important photos that were used for baseball cards, different photos of popular players like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Walter Johnson, and a ton of other stars and non-Hall of Famers also. So this is the first pack we'll open. And let's see here. You gotta see exactly where this opens. So I just pulled these out of my collection and didn't even really think about how they open up. But these are a lot of fun though. So something that all of you might remember from Charles Conlon is the 33 Gaudy Lou Gehrig card. That was a Conlon photo, and a lot of cards you see and photos of Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and the big stars, Cobb, were taken by Conlon. So we're looking at some of the photos of Charles Conlon. They made them into card form. This set actually came out in the early 90s. So we have Wally Moses. And let's look at the back of these cards too. So yeah, 1991 this set kind of came out, and obviously these photos are from the early 1900s, probably anywhere from 1905, 1910 to maybe 1940. And I believe in the late 30s, Charles Conlon destroyed a lot of his glass plate negatives. So a lot of his collection was destroyed in his home purposely so he can make more room in his house. He didn't know where to store it, and he thought he had no other choice, but I'm sure today anyone would love to store those. They're probably worth a lot of money. And this is cool, so it shows the picture, the year, and then the player and then the team below it in position, so that's really cool. So some of these names are familiar. There's Al Simmons. I've seen several of his cards. I have a checklist here. And a Hall of Famer, 1974, Jim Bottomley. Alright, so the next pack, I'll get this opened here. Okay, there's totally got to be an easier way to open these here. That's usually why I examine the pack before I do the video, but today I'm just kind of winging it here. These have been sitting in my collection for a while, and I really wanted to get them for a while. So here we are today doing that. So I wonder if the 33 Gaudy Lou Gehrig photo, I think that was taken much earlier than 33, but it'd be cool to get a card of that. That'd be awesome. Rip Radcliffe. Wait. Clint Brown, 1940. Everett Scott. Willie Cam. Max Bishop. There's Bob Smith. Mel Almada, 1936 photo. Oh, that's a nice Hornsby photo, 1924. That's a cool card. So it'd be kind of fun to put a set of these together. I should have checked the checklist. Maybe we'll get another one. So if you're on a budget and you want to collect some cool cards that have vintage photography, these are a good way to go. I don't even think I paid $1. I know the prices on the back. I want to say these were $2 for $1, or maybe $3 for $1, $4 for $1. They were a really good bargain. I couldn't pass up. I'm hoping I get the Ruth. There's some fun collectible cards with these though. There's you can even find these in blank backs too. They're much rarer, but they are out there. There's a Walter Johnson. Larry Doyle. So Doyle, he was a T206 player from the T206 set. I do recognize that name. Hemsley. Bird. I'm trying to think of what other set some of these people might be in. Glenn Wright. Red Lucas. Hans Lobert. So I know he was in the T206 set, and then also in the 1940 play ball set when they took out some of the past stars and brought them in, like 1940 play ball, like Christy Mathewson, Walter Johnson. Who else? Oh, they had a bunch of them from the past, and then they had current stars too. Oh, there's Honus Wagner, that's the other one I was thinking, and there's a lot more too. 40 play ball set's a really cool set, by the way. Pat Collins. Bill Terry. I want to say he was... What set was he in? He was in a lot of sets, but I'm trying to think one in particular. Connie Mack was in a ton of sets, and that's a very famous photo. I recognize this of Connie Mack. And Joe McCarthy. And the last card, Walter Johnson. That's a super cool card. 1916 Walter Johnson. Hall of Fame 1936. So the first class of Hall of Famers, Walter Johnson, Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, and who else am I missing in there? So I named 3 of them. If you guys could let me know, that'd be interesting to know. It was a small class, but Walter Johnson, Ty Cobb, and Babe Ruth were definitely 3 of them. I'll just kind of open this up off the camera here so I can not mangle it too much and preserve the cards as best I can. I mean, there's got to be a simple way of opening these. And after the video, I'll probably figure it out. I kind of assume there's just going to be like a flap to undo, but I don't see that. Al Simmons. Simmons, was he a play ball? Oh yeah, I know he was in the play ball set. A lot of other sets too. Reynolds, Jack Scott, Urban Shocker, Jack Burns. Yeah, a lot of these were play ball sets, or players that were in the 1940 play ball set. Some Gowdy players, some T206, American Caramel players too. Harry Rice. Hogue. Ooh, Ty Cobb, nice. That's a cool card. So that's 1928 Ty Cobb. And 28, I believe, was his last year. So he played for Detroit, and then I think the last year for the Athletics, if I can remember. And that might have been his last year, 1928. I'm sure we could find that out in the back of the card. Chief Wilson. Muddy Rule. Mort Cooper. Lynn Harry. Grover Alexander. He was a great pitcher. So it was 1928. Had a rough life. I believe he's in World War I, and he had a lot of hearing problems from the artillery fire. And then he had some issues later on in life, and really was just absolutely broke and I believe homeless, and just had, towards the end of his life, it was just a really tough time for him. So if you want to read more about a player and just kind of the tragedy of his life, he's someone to look into. Awesome picture though. It's just too bad that had to happen. We got Mel Ott on the back of this one. Mel Ott was another great player. A lot of people considered him to be a top 30 all-time baseball player. Would you agree top 30, or would you say top 20 for Mel Ott, or maybe top 50 or top 100 even? Or not even on the list. Paul Waner. So his brother Lloyd, they played together. And I believe Paul passed away earlier than Lloyd, if I can remember right. So he passed away fairly young. And if you're finding autographed cards, Paul Waner, they're kind of tough to find. Just because he wasn't around as long as his brother. I'm hoping I get a Ruth in here. That'd be really cool. That's what I'm hoping for. Because I always wanted a Ruth in here, and I don't feel like buying it separately. Charlie O'Leary. So, coach, 1927. 1927 was a huge year for the Yankees. Big year for Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, especially Babe Ruth. Goose Goslin. Tris Speaker, another awesome player. Tris Speaker has some really cool cards. So he was in the T206 set. And I'm trying to think if he was in the Sporting News set. I'm sure he was in the Sporting News sets from 1916. I believe he was in the Collins McCarthy 1917, Boston Store 1917, and American Caramel cards. He was in those in the 20s, and for sure the Gowdy. He has the nice yellow background Gowdy card, which is a super nice card. I really like the Gowdy cards that have the yellow background. They just really pop out. So it's like the Jimmy Fox, the Babe Ruth, card number 53, yellow Gowdy, Tris Speaker, really nice cards. Ross Young's. And the last card, Mel Ott. So I opened up all the packs, no Babe Ruth, but you know what, that's okay. Maybe I'll get more of these, maybe I'll go for the entire set. Be a pretty inexpensive, fun set to collect. A lot of history. You can get $2-3 you spend on some really cool cards with really cool photos on them. Well, anyway, thanks for watching everyone, and see you next time.